ready to go. All right, it's 4 o'clock here. I have coffee, and this is my second time trying to make this video, so let's hope it goes well this time. A couple weeks ago, I went to an event for the Canadian Birkie Society, and they had a ski festival that they hired me to create a promotional video for. We're walking here, which is going to see a lot of people go zooming by on cross-country skis. So while I was editing the promotional video, I thought, hey, why don't I make a behind the scenes video that explains some of the nuance in creating these kinds of videos? Oftentimes when I release them, I don't always get to talk about all the details that, I like the thought process of like, why did you make the decisions that you made? Beginning with our conversations with the client and my thoughts around this, we wanted to make sure that we captured a couple different things in the video. We wanted to focus on the competitive nature of the cross-country skiers. We wanted to capture average adults and kids who just wanted to come out and compete at their level. And then we also wanted to capture just the family-friendly, fun atmosphere of the event. Normally when I do a video like this, the first thing that I do is go and pick a piece of music. And I would just start to go through the tracks to see which one sounds like the spirit of what I'm trying to do here. So I usually just start from the top to see like this. And I feel like I can tell usually pretty quickly whether a track is going to work or not. There's a couple things that I'm looking for specifically. So with this event, I want something that is upbeat, that's energetic, and that has a bit of a musical narrative, I would say. So something that isn't just like consistent in what it's playing, something that maybe has some energy that builds up and then a soft spot and then something that builds up again, so that I can play with the edit kind of around that. That's okay. I mean, there's a little bit of what could work in there, but I would keep looking at this point. So I like the energy from that. My thought in not picking it is because it's consistent again. I wanted something that has a bit of that like narrative buildup. Not at all the tone we want. I want to play for you the song that I picked. And what I would start to do is just kind of imagine how you can edit to this. What's the movie that's playing in your head? What do you see? Setting up the beginning, establishing shots, happy faces. Maybe holding on like close-up of something, coming back up to happy people. Showing off his event, smiling face. That's what I'm looking for, right? In that story that kind of like gets ramps up so I can like cut quicker to it and like basically make it more fun and cut with that energy. So this is a good piece for us. One thing when you're deciding to cut these events that you should consider is I find that there's kind of two ways that you start to cut. You either cut linearly or non-linearly. So if you're cutting linear, that means you're cutting at the same process things happened at the event. So if you showed up in the morning, then you would show people getting out of their cars, getting geared up, and then the event starting, and then you would end with the afternoon. It's the same passage of time as normal. Or you can cut non-linearly, which means you just mash all the things from the day all over the place. So you might take the end of the day and put it at the beginning of the video because that's more interesting. It's tricky both ways. When you cut linearly, you have to kind of make sure that you're not like holding the best stuff till later because that's how it happened. If you cut non-linearly, you also have to be careful that you're not putting all of the best footage at the front and it's a boring tail end. And that's actually one thing that's really important to note when you make these videos is oftentimes we start from the beginning of the video and we edit that section over and over and over again because we want to hook people, we want it to be really fun and entertaining. The only problem with that is that we end up spending less time statistically on the end of the video, so it's much less refined than the beginning. So that's one thing that I always really try and force myself to do when I edit a video is spend a good amount of time with the later stages of the video too, and make sure that the journey that you're taking the audience through is still fun at the end. It's not like it went up this roller coaster and then just went down and it's like flat at the end, right?
Good.
I'll never make it in that way.
Right. Good. Yeah.
All right, so we got all sorts of different stuff. I won't play the whole 2 minutes, but you know, we've got smiling faces, which are good. We've got a little bit of environmental context because we want to share people, you know, where the event took place and setting that up. With the event, I shot everything in 60 frames per second for 2 reasons. Number one, when you're shooting sports, it's nicer to have faster shutter speed so that everything is smoother, especially if people are whipping by you and you pan with them, the motion blur can be too much. And then also to have the option to do slow motion with clips if there's something that I think is really interesting. So right now our edit is very linear. Beginning of the day, people getting ready. Then we've got the first group that's gonna launch, a little bit of celebration. They launch, and the first group is usually the most hardcore, so that's the chance to get the most action-y sequence. And after that, I mean, it's all ages and stuff, so you're really looking for the best moments to try and sell this event and the people in it at their best light. And I was also one camera person, right? So there's these waves of skiers who start at the beginning here and then they take off, and I only have 4 waves to try and summarize what's going on here and capture the, you know, energy of this. So I have to be a little bit cheeky sometimes with how I'm filming. I can show you an example of that here in this clip, and I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but sometimes you have to take risks. I essentially started zoomed in on, you know, our athletes here, and then as they take off, I get enough footage that I think that I can get a shot out of that, and then I zoom out so I can get the wide shot of everybody going, because I know that, again, these people are probably the most hardcore, they're probably the most energy I'm going to get. So sometimes you have to be careful because you can burn yourself doing that when you think that you're getting 2 shots in one clip and you end up getting neither shot in one clip. But I think I got away with it, and the way to do it is to hold long enough on one shot that you think that that is a clip on its own, and then reposition and get the other shot just as quick as you can. A big mistake when you shoot events is you just end up spraying around a lot and thinking that you're covering stuff because you're pointing a camera at it, and you have to be intentional about what you're going after. In fact, the more intentional that you can be, I find, the better results you get, because you look for those specific moments that really sell the event. And a lot of times you need to be going ahead of what's happening in front of you. If you're reacting, you're too slow. So another thing, again, with events like this is just a variety of coverage. So, you know, I got a couple waves coming at the beginning here. Change the location up, go somewhere else so you can get a different perspective of people coming. This is our young prince based on the legend. He was the prince for the year, so he's got a little special hat. And our mascot, Oli, who was working hard, whoever was doing that, props to you, because you made a lot of great content for me to sell this event. So you did a fantastic job. All right, so we got, you know, kids skating by. They're so cute. The little girl was trying so hard with no poles. So we got people coming through the finish line here. I'm pretty sure this guy won, so I would say he's important to put in. We got a family supporting their mom, some B-roll of skis. And again, when you do events like this, this is for the organizers. So they want to show off, you know, everything that they've done. And that includes all of the volunteers and the people, you know, this guy came up to me and showed me his hot dog filming. And I captured the hot dog, and I'm going to try and see if I can, you know, jump cut it to the cooks, who are, again, volunteers, to show the hard work that goes into creating an event like this. And again, we're just trying to summarize everything in as fun of possible way. So
Let's go, Birkie! Woo!
And then another thing that's nice to do is just get a beauty shot that you can use for like a tail card or an entrance. So I'll put a title card over this, and just something artsy is great where you can just put a logo on top. So especially if it's out of focus slightly. So I do that intentionally. I find that I just like the look of it out of focus in camera versus doing in post. And that comes back to that intentional shooting. So now I'm going to spend a little bit of time just trying to refine this edit. You can see that it's in a pretty rough state. It's just clip to clip to clip. What I'm going to try and do is find a better pacing for all of the clips that I'm lining up so that it's kind of a fun journey for the audience to watch. I'm going to pay attention to any sound cues from the clips that I can layer in to just bring people in, because the more you layer audio, the more it makes people feel like they're at the event and reliving part of it. And then the other thing I'm going to try and do is just get these clips, just like tighten them in so that they fit the amount of time that the music is, because right now I'm about 30 seconds over the music. So I got to cut out all the extra fat and make this like as like concentrated as possible. So we'll see in a little bit. I'm kind of starting to find a bit of a flow here with what footage we have and what we can do with it. There's the beginning section where it's the beginning of the event, everybody's getting ready, meeting for the first time, happy smiley faces, then horn goes off, skiers go away, energy, comes into a bit of a lull with the music, and that's probably the place we want to put some of our strongest footage of people like interacting and being happy, because the music goes slower, so we need to keep up our energy. Once the music starts to come back later at the end, we have a second event, the 8-kilometer race that was later on, that we can come back to and keep the energy going. So that's my current process. And sometimes you do get to kind of have to make a concession with the music and the footage that you have, saying, okay, I can only do so much with this. I have to pick a storyline direction. So I think that's probably what will work for me. But let's see. You might have noticed wardrobe change, lighting change. It's nighttime now. I've took a break. I've had dinner. Chicken. Now I'm getting into the refining of the edits, so I've actually put some more hours into this, and it's coming along pleasantly. When you start to get into the process of finding the best clips, but also like the timing of them, that's my favorite part. For me, at my editing style is very much timing based. I really like when things, I just refine until it feels like it just like hits really good. So that's a really great place of where we're getting into right now.
We are here.
Services EDOT manager.
Okay, that's a little sample. So you can notice it's a little less flat, like it's a little bit more quicker in terms of its editing. We're just tightening to like the best bits. I've also started to sound design a little bit, so layering in the audio instead of having like clip audio, you start to like kind of nudge them over each other and fade them in and out. And I start to cheat a little bit sometimes, taking the audio from one clip and layering it into another one so that it sounds like you're at the event. Like I want to hear like background chatter. I want to hear like somebody saying, "Hey Bob," or, you know, if the audio isn't good of what I'm filming, because a lot of times when you film something, you're asking people to do stuff. Hey, can you say hey to the camera? And then immediately, because I'm a human, I'm like, hey, great job. And I can't use that audio. So I have to find a way to hide that, or, you know, work around the blemishes in the footage, if you will. Going again and again and again, refining, tightening up each section as we go. So let's do it again. I really like where we are right now. It's starting to feel fun. That's usually my bar for quality, is if I'm having fun watching it, then I'm doing a good job, and hopefully you will too. So I think at this point, it's mostly just little things to finesse, color grading individual clips, making sure things match. It's really what I would call a quality control pass. So I'll probably end up going through it about 2 to 3 more times just to make sure that everything hits and there aren't little weird inconsistencies that take you out of the video, which is the last thing we want after we've spent all this time putting it together. We don't want something where the audience is like, oh, I didn't like that, or I noticed that, and now all the rest of the work is kind of like distracted from. Okay, I am back on editing session 5. Now, like with any project, I thought that I was going to get further than I was, and it ended up taking a lot longer to get to the progress that I wanted to get through. It reminds me of this section in this book, Creative Calling by Chase Jarvis. Great book. Where you started at the beginning thinking you have an idea and you're like, this is great. And then you go through this pit of despair where you're like, oh no, this isn't working. I need to fix something. I'm not good at this. Well, they say, no, I'm not good at this and this. I didn't have that crisis of confidence, but you know what I mean. and then you kind of find your way out of it. So what do I mean by the changes that I needed to make it even better? Well, I recognized that at the beginning of the video, it kind of just like rolled into the music and it was very abrupt. So I wanted to find some kind of a way that was a little bit more like getting you into the spirit of what the Birkie is and kind of just like introducing you to what we're going to do. So I added a little bit of sound design of kind of just a rising action and montaged a bunch of clips to kind of just show us a flurry of what we're going to see, and picking clips that have very strong visual indicators, and then using a little bit of sound design to kind of layer that in. So let's take a look at that to show you.
Hey, really quick!
So it's using kind of like the first 12 seconds to just give us more of an idea of what we're going to see without it just like, I noticed with the song, it's very much just a hard cut into action, and I wanted to kind of build a little bit of anticipation. And that's something that's always really important with videos, is the first 10 seconds somebody watches your video, you want to kind of like engage them, excite them, tease them, have a hook so that they're like ready to watch the rest of the video. So I discovered that. Another thing I'll show you that I kind of discovered moving along was just a little bit more of kind of like playing and layering with things. I've talked about this, but I shot some stuff in slow motion, like this clip that I really like. And so I started to add in a little bit of speed ramps just to kind of like get in and out of those clips quicker. The tail ends of it to kind of speed it up back to natural time when we go back into natural time. A little bit of sound design on the whoosh of the ski, of combing it there to give it some feeling, and just starting to add layers in. And the last thing I'll show you is I added more sound design in. Now the announcer, I had a Zoom H4n connected to the podium to try and pick up some audio of what was going on as they were announcing, you know, let's go, everybody at the beginning. And with this event in particular, there was a lot of music in the background of that microphone, and they didn't exactly like hype up the specific moment, like 3, 2, 1, go. But I just kind of dug around and found other sound bites of them saying like, hey, is everybody here? Let's getting ready. Starting to add those in are just ways to kind of bring everybody into the day as well. So let's take a look at that.
Good morning, good morning. How are you guys doing back there? I see you over there. Good morning.
We are 2 minutes to start. 30 seconds.
So yeah, so just using different elements in your filmmaking toolkit to just layer things in more. I always find that that's the best way to make a really compelling video, is the blending of many different aspects. So yeah, this took me longer than I thought, but pretty much within reason of what I expected. And it's always just that refining process of combing over it again and again and saying, okay, is this working? If I was watching this as somebody who has no idea what's going on, what do I need to show them? What do I need to tell them? You can watch the whole video. I will put a link to it if you want to see the finished piece. I won't play the whole thing here and save you time. That is editing an event video. I hope you learned something from watching this. If you like that, I have a couple other videos that do editing and multicam sequences and using Premiere Basics. But yeah, throw me a like and a comment if you enjoyed this. I really appreciate the support and the positivity. And yeah, if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I love engaging with you too. So yeah, hope you have a nice day. Take care and keep editing great videos and making great content. Bye.